I hope you that. That's up.
It don't hurt. So let me know if you need some time. The Wi-Fi here, is, yeah, because I normally connect to the pink, yeah, because that pops up, and I was doing that first.
Oh,
Then I realized that here now it does it automatically because I've been doing it for so long. So they both work.
It's on the front thing. That's what
Right? You good?
So she gonna do it.
And also, since you're talking to a live audience and the people who are online, go back and forth.
Okay, yeah.
So we had one
So we're
sister,
doing
one
that.
sister who was just, for whatever reason, there were people here and she was just,
Yeah, no, I'm when I do trainings, I do in person and virtual, so I'm pretty
Beautiful.
used to that, yeah.
okay, cool. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
It's
Oh, I think Kristen wants to go grab the Wi-Fi, but I mean, she'll be okay.
Do we need to move this up? Or you okay with that?
It's fine.
I guess-
Yeah, really, I'm not beyond the track right now.
Okay. You can do boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys for being here. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to Thursday Morning Breakfast. This is where we try to bring together the community, subject matter experts, public and private sector, to talk about what they do, how they do it, why they do it, and why they need the community to be a part of it. The Thursday Morning Breakfast group is a part of the Growth for Care Alliance. We are focused on being the bridge between those that are doing good in the community and the community that needs that good to be done in their lives. And they may not be aware of the two. For whatever reason, when it comes to a lot of our nonprofits, a lot of our Black-owned businesses, there's a gap, there's a gulf, a chasm between them getting that messaging or that service to the community. So we try to be the bridge in between the two. I take it back. We focus on being the bridge because we are a bridge between the two to make sure that whatever that professional, that nonprofit, that employee of whatever entity is doing for the city, we want to make sure that we let the community know about these things, which is one of the reasons, which I'll talk about at the end, we started our own digital magazine, because we have so many things happening to our people in this country, and we got a lot of good that's happening for the people that we want to let them know about. So on that note, I'm going to turn this thing over to Sister DeShaun Taylor, who is it co-owner or owner of Homeowners?
I'm the owner, yeah.
The founder and owner, husband.
I'm co-owner and co-founder of our farm, Taylor Made Farm, Texas. I own that with my husband.
Okay.
My husband couldn't be here today. He's doing work at the farm.
She got him in the fields. All right, so the founder and owner of Harmonious Birthing and co-owner of Taylor Made Farm with her husband. So we're going to focus on Harmonious Birthing this morning, but I will make sure that she talked about Taylor Made Farms at the end because that's important as well. So on that note, you guys can give her a round of applause, Sister DeShaun Taylor of Harmonious Birthing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everyone being here. I really appreciate it. I really didn't know how it's my first time here.
How what?
I was just saying it's my first time
Okay.
here. So I'm glad to meet everyone. I do have my talking points, so I will be looking at my notebook so I don't go off topic or talk too much and make sure I, stick to what I'm supposed to do today. You can feel free to ask me questions in between. If I talk too fast, sometimes if I haven't talked too fast, they can tell me to slow down. I need to. Okay. Like you already said, I'm DeShaun Taylor. I'm a licensed midwife here in Texas. I've been in birth work for about 8 years. I started off as a doula, doing childbirth education as well. And then what brought me into birth work is essentially I had a really negative birth experience. So when I gave birth to my son almost 10 years ago, I was in the military. I was stationed in El Paso at Fort Bliss. And I wasn't listened to much during my pregnancy, but also during my labor and delivery experience. And then that led to an emergency cesarean, which really was an emergency. Within that emergency cesarean, I wasn't numb properly, and I told the staff. However, they didn't believe me.
You weren't what?
I wasn't numb correctly, so I felt them. Okay. Yeah, so I felt them doing the incision, and then I ended up going to shock, and I flatlined. I had to resuscitate me. From there, I had memory loss and just a really poor postpartum. I went back to the VA, which is Veterans Affairs, and let them know, I had memory loss, and they kind of made me out to be a liar. And then I learned that this also happens to a lot of other Black women in the United States, and then I learned about what doulas are. At that time, I didn't really know much about midwives, but I learned about doulas, and I learned that, this happened to a lot of Black women. That's also when I learned that Black women are 4 to 6 times more likely to die during complications with childbirth. And this is an effect or adverse reaction of systemic oppression and systemic racism. So that's where doulas and midwives kick in. So I became a doula, and then I did a lot of community outreach. I did a lot of speaking engagements, the tabling and things like that. And what a doula is pretty much like a birth companion. There's someone that's going to be there emotionally, physically, mentally, sometimes spiritually for you throughout your pregnancy, sometimes even preconception. So preconception, pregnancy, your birth, and postpartum. So they can give you comfort measures during labor and delivery. This is not only for somebody that wants to have a natural birth. If you're a high risk person, if you have a planned cesarean, if you have a plan, if you know that your baby's going to be stillborn because of whatever kind of complications, your doulas can help and assist in multiple ways and different facets during this time. They also have higher incidence of clients that have breastfeeding cessation rates past 6 months. Black women have the lowest rates of breastfeeding in the United States, which is why we have our own Black Breastfeeding Week in the United States to promote breastfeeding, because we know that this creates healthy Black babies. Okay. So then, I was a doula for some years, and I did home birth, hospital birth, birthing center births. And in the hospital births, I just kind of found myself getting worn out because I really have to kind of pick and choose battles sometimes. So, as a doula, they're also there to advocate for you when things are not going right, or maybe when the hospital staff is being dishonest or they're going against the birth plan. And so sometimes with that, as a doula, you kind of have to pick and choose, do I fight for this? Do I kind of say something about this? Because you don't want too much tension, because sometimes, there are hospitals that really dislike doulas, right? Because, they don't like to be shown like, okay, you're probably doing something wrong. And so I really just got tired of that, feeling in a position to where I'm like, every hospital birth I leave, I'm really feeling some type of pretty much passed on trauma, right? And then I was also re-traumatizing myself from my own hospital experience. So it's not to say that I would never support someone in the hospital, but I just felt like I could do more. And so in my mind, I was like, man, I don't want to become a midwife because it's way too much work. And yeah, it's just a lot of responsibility. And then I became a midwife. So well, I went to midwifery school, and even with that, it was a big challenge because I still faced racism and oppression. The schools that I went to, we also were required to travel every semester. And so one of the places that they tried to send us to, I didn't go, was actually to a sundown town that they knew was a sundown town. And they pretty much told us, just make sure we stick with our white students. And, me and some of the other Black students, we wrote a letter, and then we ended up getting expelled for a week, and that was the whole thing. So even through my midwifery, getting through midwifery school, I still face my own challenges. In the United States, there's less than 8% Black midwives in the entire country. Okay. So a midwife is a licensed medical professional. So it's not the same thing as a doula. Doulas can take on anyone that's, like I said, low risk, high risk. It can be home birth, hospital birth, birthing center birth. It doesn't have to be a natural birth. If you want an epidural, you can still have a doula. Okay. Doulas also not only work with the pregnant person, but also with fathers too. So they're there to kind of bring together the whole family. Oftentimes doulas might either meet you in your home for a prenatal appointment, or you can meet them in their office or a public setting. They're there to pretty much guide you, prepare you for, what's to come for birth, postpartum, breastfeeding, really to educate you. We really want informed decisions when it comes to pregnancy, childbirth, child rearing. Now, as a midwife, I almost pretty much I replace the OB-GYN. So patients come to my office, I run their labs, I run their ultrasounds, I can do their genetic testing, I chart all of their things, I do their vital signs, I listen to their babies, I measure their uterus and things like that, and then I deliver their babies. So I am the licensed medical professional. Okay, so I deliver their babies, I do the birth certificates, I do the social security cards for the babies as well. And then I see the mom all throughout pregnancy, the birth, and then postpartum up until 6 weeks. As I'm seeing the mom, I'm also seeing the baby. So I do newborn care up until 6 weeks postpartum. So that means I can also do blood work for the baby, hearing tests for the baby, jaundice tests for the baby. I can do DNA tests and all these things. Okay.
So what don't you do?
Well,
all the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
What don't you do?
So only things that midwives we can't do is high risk. So we only see low to moderate risk patients. Okay. So that can mean some people might think certain things are high risk automatically, like their age. For me, so textbook is, 35 years or older is considered advanced maternal age. And then midwifery, it really just depends on the person, depends on the lifestyle, depends on what number of child they're on, depends on their past history. However, most of my patients are in fact older than me. I've had patients that I'm 30 years old.
I was about to ask, are you 20?
I'm 30. And I have patients that are 45, 46, 47, and we have happy, healthy deliveries.
Okay.
And then some things that people might also assume is high risk, but it's not always high risk. It's twins, breech, spurts, when baby's not head down. So I also do that. It just kind of depends. You know, I can't take on someone that has essential hypertension, meaning they already had high blood pressure before they got pregnant. I can't take on someone that's HIV positive, even if they are non-detectable. I can do their prenatal care and their postpartum care, but I'm not allowed in the state of Texas to deliver their baby. However, just as a caveat, HIV positive people that are undetectable, they can have a vaginal birth and they can breastfeed. A lot of people are not educated on that. So I do a lot of advocacy behind that too. Okay. So like I said, midwives, we see low to moderate risk patients. I deliver anywhere from about 2 to 6 people a month. Okay. Wow. So my birth assistant is in the back, Miss Crystal.
That's a lot.
People online can't see her, but she's my birth assistant. She's also my best friend. Right. And my sister in Christ.
And my niece, she's my niece.
And she's also a doula too. So if you guys want to hook up with a doula, she's also a doula as well. And so, you know, we also handle emergency situations. So for instance, this month, are we still in January? Yeah, we are. Yeah. This month we had a resuscitation. We had what's called shoulder dystocia. We handled the shoulder dystocia, a shoulder dystocia, which essentially the baby is stuck. Okay. And so as midwives, we have training on getting those babies unstuck. Okay. And also the cord was around the neck. I had the training on that, so I was able to do that. And then that followed up with the resuscitation, which went just fine. Mm-hmm. So these are things, you know, we carry medications. I'm able to write prescriptions for patients and their babies if I need to. However, we do focus on more so on holistic things. So the vast majority of my patients do come to me because they want holistic care. They want, you know, natural modalities and things like that, which we focus on. Sometimes there is a time and a place for, you know, for Western medicine. So if we need to do that, we can do that. And I also,
what do you mean by natural modality?
So we can do things like, for instance, if somebody has a UTI, yeast infection, BV, things like that, those are things that a lot of times we can treat naturally.
A UTI?
Urinary tract infection.
And the last thing?
A BV, bacteria vaginosis, or like a yeast infection. Those are things that we can, most of the time, we can treat naturally. Okay. If somebody's having headaches, we don't typically just pop a Tylenol. Okay. We're doing natural things. We're making sure that we're eating correctly. If our blood pressure is a little bit elevated, then I'm putting them on certain supplements or certain herbs and a different diet plan. And I'm looking at their lifestyle. And oftentimes, you know, the moms are coming in with either their boyfriends, their husbands, their partners, whoever. And even them, sometimes they'll have health issues too. Okay. And I'll say, okay, well, why don't you start doing this? You know, I've had plenty of fathers that come in with hypertension, you know, skyrocket blood pressure. And I put them on a diet plan, or I tell them, you know, why don't you buy these herbs? And then it fixes the issue. So that ties back to, yes, what's your question? Yeah.
How do you treat UTI?
It depends. It depends. So what I'll do first is I'll run a urine test. I'll run a lab, a culture to see what kind of bacteria it is. Most times, if it's like E. coli and the urinary tract, you can do cranberry with D-mannose. It's DMANNOSE. You're okay. So that's a supplement you can take. You can take it for about a week, and then also making sure we talk about like proper like sexual practices, personal hygiene, things like that.
Improper sexual practices can cause a UTI?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Give me an example of that.
So
am I doing it wrong all this time? What the hell?
Well, it's just you
know,
for some people that maybe they use both sides. You know, you don't go from one side to the
right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. I understand that culture.
Yeah. But then also, you know, oral health, oral hygiene. So if somebody's going to have oral sexual practices, right. Then they should be brushing their teeth and flossing on a regular basis. Right. But definitely before the act of those things. Yeah. Some people use extra, you know, fun things in the bedroom. Those are notorious for getting people.
That's what know for that. If you're using sex things. Straight in.
So a lot of people don't know that. Now, when I was talking about, you know, sometimes treating their partners or sometimes their family, sometimes people bring their grandmas in and their aunts, stuff like that, not talking about their lifestyle. Now, this ties into what an original granny midwife is. So let's go. Granny midwife.
Granny midwife. You talk faster than I do. Jesus Lord, you just go, girl. I tell you, I let you
saying we listen.
Yes, we for the doctor. Y'all know these damn acronyms.
They said you only got 30 minutes. I said, okay. So
And typically.
right, okay. So let me go back to my little checklist. Okay, so so the history of midwifery, right? Okay, so we have from beginning in time until we have document around 1600s. That's where we have Western and Central Africa. Okay, so those midwives were usually born to either they're born to be midwives. So like if your mother was a midwife, then more than likely you're going to be a midwife because you're going to birth with her, and then you have what's called an apprenticeship, meaning that you're learning through that person. You're following your aunt, you're following your mom to every birth, and you're not going to be a midwife. Okay. And then after that, okay, obviously we have enslavement. So we have 1619 upwards to like 1865-ish, where we have enslavement era. So of course, those midwives were still brought over to wherever they're going to be enslaved.
They were allowed to assist in.
Well, they had no choice because the white people were not going to be catching those babies.
Right.
Yeah, because they seen us obviously as less than and dirty and stuff like that. So, those midwives were still in charge of being midwives.
Okay.
And so even in transport, like you were in charge, and we were in charge of doing that.
Huh.
Okay. And so
okay.
Then, but then we have into early 1900s, and we have like Jim Crow era and all these other things. Then we have what's called granny midwives. So Black granny midwives is we're in the United States, we're past enslavement, but we're more so obviously a lot of high racism, Jim Crow law, segregation. We have granny midwives, and so they were pretty much in charge of all black people, not just women for pregnancy. It's also talking about the family. So if Uncle Jim had bed sore or something like that, then the midwife is going to the house to treat that. If somebody has gout, the midwife is going to the house to go treat that. If somebody needs a baby delivered them. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when I say now that people bring their family members in, I'm like, oh, okay, well, how are you feeling? Whatever. It still ties back into long ago granny midwives, and I try to hold those practices as much as possible as I still can. Okay. But then you have to where 1950s, 1960s roll around, and then there's a lot of campaigns going on against Black granny midwives. And so essentially white people are writing in newspapers and spreading the word, Black midwives are dirty, they'll kill your baby, they'll kill you. And so then there was this big mass movement to say, you know what, we need certain licensure. And just like when it comes to like the Black people voting and stuff like that, they say, oh, sure, you can vote, but you got to pass this test, you got to read this, you got to do this.
Always putting up barriers.
Exactly. So there were so many barriers, and there's still barriers now. Like I said, I had to face things in midwifery school. There was barriers then. So a lot of Black women can no longer get into that idea of, okay, I'm going to go to this midwifery school that the white people have created so I can have this license, so they don't say like I'm dirty or take me to jail for delivering a baby.
Yep.
So that created a barrier, and that wiped out a lot of midwives.
Is there a difference between, I'm saying white and Black, but Black midwives and other ethnic groups, so to speak?
There is. Some things are similar. Some things are similar. So even when we talk about like Latina culture, a lot of things are still similar.
Okay.
We hold the same similar practices.
Okay.
And they have their own barriers,
Sure.
even today.
Okay.
Okay. Where was I? Okay, so there was a lot of barriers for Black women, and then even when they they went through those barriers, they were still chastised, and they would say like, oh, well, somebody has to follow you. They would stop and say, okay, well, show me your license. You're on your way to birth. Show me your license, and show me what's in your bag. And so then it was like, okay, well, if you have herbs in your bag, you're practicing witchcraft. So Black women, Black granny midwives, what we would do is we would hold, we would carry 2 bags, or we have a big bag that had a secret compartment at the bottom for all of our natural things, our herbs and things like that would treat postpartum hemorrhage. If mom was bleeding too much, it would treat if your placenta was stuck. It would, maybe some extra breast milk from someone else if the baby wasn't latching, or things like that. But on top, we would have what the state wants us to carry, obviously, as well.
Gotta play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so now we have, like I said, less than 8% of Black women are licensed midwives in the United States, in the entire United States, and that is also nurse midwives plus licensed midwives, which what I am. So I'm not a nurse midwife. Nurse midwives typically work in a hospital. I am not someone that wants to work in a hospital system. That's just not for me. Nurse midwives are usually going through nursing school and then they do like a bridge midwifery. Usually that's not a holistic route.
Mhm.
I did 4 straight years of holistic midwifery. So yes, I do have to learn obviously like prescriptions and medications and things like that, but we also highly focused on what out of hospital birth looks like. So birthing centers, home births, treating things naturally, caring for the family in a holistic manner versus everything is hospital policy. Yeah.
Two-part question.
Mhm.
Is there a difference between holistic with a W and an H? Is there a difference?
For me, no.
Okay.
No, and I'm gonna talk about, what does holistic healing mean too.
Okay.
I have that in
That's
my-
my first question. What is that?
Yeah. I have that on my handy dandy notebook.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Well, we talk and I am looking to become a midwife, so
Mhm.
when you're talking about the types, like the CNM versus the CPM,
Mhm.
I've been having a lot of struggle trying to figure out which would be the best route, but hearing you say that like the CPM focuses more on holistic makes me feel like I should go that route, because
That's what resonates with
that's
you.
how I run my yoga practice.
Right.
You already have a doula practice.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been like hearing 2 different sides. of
Yeah.
it, and I'm interested more so in the route that you took.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can talk. after
Yeah,
this or
we
whatever,
can,
but
we
I
can.
really would love to.
That's one of my questions.
Yeah.
How do you get on the path? So,
It's on my handy
Yeah.
dandy notebook.
Yeah. Don't talk after. Talk now.
It's on my notebook as a
Amen.
checklist.
All right. Cool.
Okay, okay, and look, we'll just go ahead and I'll drop down to that one. So how can you become a midwife or a doula? So I actually train doulas and I also train student midwives. I have my own doula training program. I've had that program since 2020. And it's been recognized by places like March of Dimes, Harris Health System.
Wow.
And March of
Okay.
Dimes has actually, thank you. March of Dimes has actually sponsored multiple Black or BIPOC women to take my training over the last 3 years.
And what is BIPOC?
Black Indigenous people of color.
Thank you. Like everybody knows what you're talking about, girl. You have to break this crap down.
And so March 9 has sponsored me, or sponsored some individuals, and then also Harris Health System. I've trained even some nurses. I've trained OB-GYNs. OB-GYNs have taken my doula training because they want to understand how to treat people in the hospital. Right. And so I'm really proud to see that I have people that are labor and delivery nurses for 30 years and come and take my training. They're like, wow, DeShaun, I did not know any of this. And now they know how to better treat people, or they know, this wasn't right what I was taught. And so I do train doulas. We actually have a doula training program coming up in March. It's going to be hosted on my farm in Conroe, Texas. And then I also train midwives. So I also have a midwifery training program. That was pretty much born out of the barriers and the caveats that I see in other midwifery training programs. It is a minimum 3-year, but you're probably not going to finish to about 4 years. So all your didactic work is going to be 3 years, and your apprenticeship is going to be looking more like a 3 to 4 year program. And so I do have that as well. That's not for every state though, because different states have different licensing requirements. Some states want you to go to certain, what you would call like it was like a midwifery accredited, versus Texas, there's multiple pathways that we can go to become a licensed midwife. What was your question?
I noticed you said understand as opposed to understand.
Yeah, that's just how.
What do you mean by understand, sister?
Because I want to be in it.
Yeah, I
I want to be in it.
Right, right.
I don't want to be under nothing.
Hey, Black words matter.
Yeah. I want to be in. I want to understand. I don't want to understand something.
Right.
And then he brought up my hybrid midwifery training. So we do online and in person. We actually have a study hall tonight. So with my students, and so they'll do their online didactic work, and then they'll eventually have an apprenticeship where they're going to be starting to be responsible for patients as I'm monitoring everything. So they learn the skills, and then they eventually become a midwife.
And what is didactic training?
That's more so like all of your coursework, your online coursework, your essays, your research projects, your all of those kind of things.
So would you compare your hybrid midwifery?
Mm-hmm.
I understand why you don't say wifery training. Would that be like trade school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
it would be like trade school.
That's how
I mean, it is trade school.
It is trade school.
Yeah, it is trade school.
Yeah, it's most of it a trade.
I guess I never thought about myself having a trade.
That's why I'm here.
I do have a habit of, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about doing something, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do it, and I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Go with your first
okay,
mind. Yeah.
yes. Okay, and then so I answer, okay, so let's go back to what is holistic healing. Okay, so when I'm talking about holistic, I'm thinking about the whole body, the whole mind, the whole community, right? I want people, my desire is for people to actually be healthy, not say, oh yeah, I went to the doctor, my blood work was all good. Well, do you know what they actually run? Because most time they're just doing like, maybe they do your A1C, maybe they do your complete blood count, make sure you're not anemic, but do you know what deficiencies you actually have? Because you're more than likely not asking your doctor, like, hey, can you run my vitamin D panel? Or can you run a full thyroid panel? Not just one aspect of it, but a full thyroid panel.
How would they even know how would they even know to ask it?
Well, most people don't. That's
Right,
the thing. Most
right.
people don't.
Okay.
Yeah, most people don't. People don't keep up with their blood pressure either. I
Mhm.
realize that. Most homes don't have a blood pressure cuff that's being used.
Yeah.
Most people don't know what a healthy blood pressure or pulse is. A lot of people are so used to a lot of processed foods, or just foods that are not there for healing.
Sure.
So when you beat up the body for so long,
Mhm.
over and over and over again, eventually it's going to cry out.
Yeah.
So you might say, "Well, I've been doing this for 10 years and stuff like that," but on the 11th year, you back in
Yeah.
the hospital.
Yeah, and we also like to say, well, my grandmother did it. She didn't be 100
Right,
years old. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. And so and so I also speak out about a lot of things that people don't know about. For instance, even things like fragrances, your perfumes, your colognes, your candles, those wall plugins, a lot of perms, relaxers. I grew up when I got my first perm, I probably was in what, fourth grade, but most people, they get their first perm when they're like 5 or 6. And I remember burning my scalp, and that is now directly linked to ovarian cancer and fibroids, as well as it creates brain lesions on our brain.
Right.
And so all these things, he said, oh, well, we've been doing this in the beginning of time, but now it's really affecting our community because a lot of people don't realize that it also, in fact, affecting fertility.
Yeah.
So I have patients where I'm like, you have some really big fibroids. People don't know they have fibroids until they get an ultrasound. A lot of times the ultrasound person is not telling them, or the OB-GYN is not even telling them they have fibroids or cysts.
Right. Right.
Because they see it as, oh yeah, well, it's just some anomalies. It's fine. It's a normal thing, but this is not normal. We shouldn't have excess, fibrous tissue in our uterus.
Okay.
We should not have heavy, long, painful periods. And so the overuse of these scented things and these perfumes, the Febreze, the plug-in, even your dish soap, what you wash your clothes in, things like that, what you put in your hair, those things can be endocrine disruptors, meaning that it can affect women's health but also men's health, and
Wow. Wow. Okay.
induce certain cancers and stuff like that. So when I say holistic healing and holistic healthcare, I mean all of that.
Yeah.
Truly.
Okay.
And it's not impossible to do. There is definitely some shifts. If people can just even switch over from us buying plastic bottles and use glass, buy some glass bottles and you go refill it at the refill station, you actually save money, but you're not ingesting microplastics every single day.
Okay.
So it's little things that add up that people don't realize that it actually is affecting your brain, your heart, your cancer rates, your fertility.
And we only not realize it. We don't even think about it because we were never taught to think about
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's the U.S. culture.
Right.
100%,
Exactly.
100%. Which when I'm hearing you speak and what Sister Yvonne just said, to me it screams the fact that we really do need our own Amish type communities to have a separation from this American culture thing.
Yes.
Because it is different when it comes to us and how we've done things.
Right.
And how this system is trying to make us do it their way, which for us, it has not been a healthy way at all.
Right.
At all.
Right. A lot of African Americans are unfortunately on at least 3 medications. That can be their high blood pressure medication, maybe a diabetes medication, and then a medication to help with the side effects that's coming from one of those.
What did you say about?
And cholesterol.
And cholesterol.
Yeah. And these things, but guess what? Hypertension is like the easiest thing that you can fix. Hypertension is the easiest thing you can fix. You can fix that in 3 months. No medication.
17 years. It's about 17.
Yeah.
She's 22 now, so how'd she get rid of her hypertension? She young.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm already.
So what I do health consultations, but it's going to be a lifestyle change. It's going to be a lifestyle change. And sometimes that lifestyle change, people don't like to hear it, but you're going to be switching to a plant-based diet. That's just a matter of fact. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to, I don't like my meat, or how am I supposed to? It's easy. I promise it is. But you'll see.
Is it easy or is it easy?
It's, I went overnight.
Yeah.
My husband's plant-based. My children are plant-based. Although I had a
But your
plant-based
kids, I'm assuming your kids are raised
Yeah.
plants. Okay.
With my pregnancy, plant-based. Yeah,
So
yeah.
raise your plants or what?
Well,
Plant-based when you talk.
Oh, good question. See, what do you mean by plant-based?
well, I don't eat anything from an animal. No secretions. I don't eat anything that comes from an animal. So no meat, no dairy, no eggs, nothing like that. Yeah. Now-
Pork chop.
Yeah. But I know it's so hard because you're so used to it, and it's like, okay, this
the U.S. culture.
yes. And so some people are like, oh, it's hard. You gotta go to all these different places. It's a vegan place around the corner right here. That's a buffet.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't, it's Govinda's. Oh, it's so good.
What place is that?
Govinda's.
I've been there.
Yes, the Indian spot. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. We went there for my wedding reception and people was tearing it up. Yeah. Yeah. We go on vegan days. Most days they're vegetarian, 3 days of the week they're vegan. But
So real quick,
but it's a
for you,
lifestyle change. Yeah.
what is the indeed it is?
Mm.
But for someone like Miss Ruth, who is 27,
Mhm.
what is what is the biggest hurdle for people in their late to mid 30s to make that switch? Because it is,
It's a habit.
yeah.
They
so
don't want to change their
being
habit.
willing to change your habits and your lifestyle.
And change the habits amidst the culture.
The culture that's always pushing.
Always pushing.
McDonald's.
It's in our attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
having that support system.
Yeah.
But it's
Indeed, yeah, which goes back to community and village and the whole.
So people, they wake up and they want pancakes and eggs, or there's sausage and eggs and stuff like that, or they'll slide by McDonald's, get them a griddle. And so when I say, hey, you should start your day off with some beans, they look at me like I'm crazy
Right.
because people don't do that here.
That's
But
right.
I eat beans in the morning.
I love beans.
I can't
Man, I
go
love
the whole
beans.
day, but also beans are, there's all these superfoods. Beans are actually superfood, and guess what? They're so cheap.
Yeah.
When I was 18 and on food stamps and only got $13 of food stamps every month, I wish I knew I could just eat beans.
Yeah, you can stretch it.
You
Beans
can,
and rice. It can stretch.
yes, you can stretch. But not
Yes,
only that, a lot of people don't know it's also good for diabetes. You know why? Because beans have what's called a second and third meal effect. That means if you start your day off with beans, the second and third meals you're going to have is the beans are going to not allow all that glucose or the sugar to absorb into your body. So yeah, and it also helps your brain. It goes against Alzheimer's. It helps fiber. Like people have colon cancer because they eat. Yeah, it's all protein. Nobody cares about fiber. Yes.
any particular bean is
Good
better
question.
than the other.
Well, no, I diversify my beans. I love beans.
Yeah.
Chickpeas, pinto beans, navy beans,
Yeah.
black eyed peas.
Black eyed peas.
We sell black eyed peas. If you come to the farm stand Saturday, we sell black eyed peas. We grow it ourselves.
Wow.
You can also do lentils
We're not.
and cornbread. I'll give y'all the but yeah, we'll do bean tacos. Or you can just eat a bowl of beans. A lot of people don't realize, how easy the switch is. And actually, buying a bag of beans is much cheaper than you buying bacon and sausage.
100%.
I grew up on beans. We
Yeah.
ate beans every single
Yeah.
day.
But it's just
Yeah.
I know.
The money I need.
You know, it's funny. I grew up.
No beans.
I grew up on collard greens, but collard greens, we had the ham and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now I love collard greens. I'm like, this tastes good. I don't eat all the turkey necks. And then I think about what was I doing eating a turkey neck? Like it's kind of crazy. Like eating a neck. Yeah, I'm from Eastern Texas, born and raised. Yeah.
For flavor,
But you can use seasonings and spices.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And you can use
No doubt.
other things like I put on what's called jackfruit in my
Yes,
collard greens,
yes.
and then you put some smokes. It's
Jackfruit.
called jackfruit. It's a fruit, but it has like a meaty texture. It's so different. It's the varieties and it's endless. But it really is dying off the old habits.
So you let me know.
Well, at the farm stand, we're gonna have some vegan baked goods. I would love for you to try them so you can see, like, you know what? I don't need the little dainty stuff like that. We're gonna have hot fresh cinnamon rolls, cookies, cakes, all that kind of stuff, pickles, jams. Yes,
Are you writing a book?
I have 2 children's books. I don't have a book about what I'm talking about.
They're them kids. What?
So a lot of people do ask me to, especially because I do talk a lot, but I don't know. I would have to write that all down. I don't know. I'm a little lazy when it comes to that part.
I need that.
Okay, I'm gonna figure it out.
And I
You know-
to say you've been the best speaker so far.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
She buys what you buy.
Nah, she biased because she like the beans.
I can think, yeah.
Okay, so we went through
That baby part, not baby.
the what?
The baby part. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the midwifery stuff. But you know what? If you have daughters, I mean, even if you have friends or family members, well, no, you don't have to deliver. But it's just to spread the word about what midwives and doulas are.
You got to the baby stuff. Okay, that must be there.
Ah.
Know what I mean?
So, I also have on my list, you know, I also have on my list maternal disparities. Okay, so we have maternal disparities when it comes to, like I said, you know, Black women are 4 to 6 times more likely to die during childbirth and postpartum as well. We have
Say it again slower.
Black women in the United States are 4 to 6 times more likely to die surrounding childbirth.
Why?
Well, because of systemic racism. So they're not being listened to.
Exactly.
So if I say, hey, I have a major headache.
You might not know.
If I go into the hospital and say, hey, I have a major headache, right? And they'll say, okay, well, I think you're fine. You know, let me just give you some Tylenol, send you on your way. But when you get home, you had a seizure because the whole time you have preeclampsia, which is a condition in pregnancy, which exhibits with high blood pressure.
Mhm.
And so you have a seizure, you die, and then your baby dies.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is a common thing.
Yeah.
When I said, hey, when I was screaming and said, I feel this essentially, I'm begging you to stop, they did not listen to me. I went
could
to
feel
try.
the
Yes, and
Wow.
they didn't know me properly.
Lord.
What?
They didn't know me properly.
I know, but you can feel the what?
The incision, I felt them cutting me open.
Can you imagine?
I felt them cutting me open. So I went into shock.
I can't.
And I flatlined, you know. And so I could have just not been here today. I would have just been another statistic. This is
Yeah.
something that happens very often,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
And then when I went back for help, then they made me out to be a liar. You know, even when I say, you know, I have a memory loss, I have to write my address on a sticky note and put it on the back of my phone. You know, so they put me through all these tests. And when it was coming out, like, okay, yeah, this is a serious issue, they made me out to be a liar. Okay, well, you must have looked up how to fail this test.
Wow.
That's pretty much it. Because I'm a Black woman,
Sure.
this is something that we go through on a regular basis. This is why we need midwives and doulas. We shouldn't have to be through that kind of system. We
Yep.
need somebody that, you know, like you said, our own community. We
Yep.
have our own people taking
Yep.
care of our own people,
Yes, ma'am.
or midwives taking care of us. Or if you are a high risk patient, somebody that we can't have with free care for whatever reason, still having an advocate, having a doula, having your doula go to your appointments with you, having your doula train you on how to go to your appointments, having a doula tell you, no, you can fire that OB-GYN, right? You can go choose another one. Let me help you find someone that's within your means. Maybe that takes your insurance, things like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So for a person, especially I'm gonna say a teenager,
Yeah.
and maybe even her parents who know nothing about what you're talking about. How do they come into contact with the information so that they can benefit from it?
So this is why we spread it on social media so much, because
Okay.
we're in the age of social media.
Indeed.
And so people, I try to post as much as I can on TikTok and Instagram, not only about, you know, harmonious birthing, but also farm stuff.
Yep.
Because a lot of people say, well, I didn't know the difference between, you know, kale in the grocery store versus kale at the farm that's grown with no pesticides and stuff like that. So as I'm posting, it gets shared. You know, people, if they say, oh, I think I want to do this, or, you know, I've heard about what goes on in the hospitals to Black women. And so they think, okay, I think I want to do this, or let me send this to my friend that's pregnant.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it's all about word of mouth and sharing.
Do you do any speaking at high schools or middle schools or anything like that?
I've done some speaking engagements at high schools before.
Okay. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
I would assume the young citizens would be like, wow, really?
Yeah. I mean, even the men,
Yeah.
the young men, they were very, you know,
Okay.
they were, yeah,
Are
they
they,
were tuned in.
I would also assume that the percentage of brothers who are midwives, would it be mid-husbands? Or?
Well, so I've only met one male midwife.
I think it would be kind of
It's a woman saturated. It's not really.
the doula as well, I'm assuming.
There are some male doulas.
Okay.
There are very, very, very low
Okay.
amount. Like I said, it's more so. This is a women's field. I would say.
Would that be the equivalent of a male nurse? Is it different?
No, there would still be a doula.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sorry,
would-
as far as percentages.
Oh, no, much lower.
Much more. Okay.
Yeah, much lower. Like I think I only know 2 male doulas, and I know a lot of birth workers. A lot of people know me.
Okay.
A lot of people do know
Right.
me.
Okay.
So, okay. So some disparities that we're helping is, like I said, the maternal mortality, which is death, and morbidity. So that's illnesses or sicknesses or morbid conditions that come with pregnancy. So we're helping reduce that. We're also helping reduce postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, as well as postpartum hemorrhage, which is when someone's bleeding too much. We also increase birth satisfaction. We're also increasing breastfeeding
You
rate.
said birth what?
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
So
Okay.
someone being satisfied with their birth experience.
I wrote that down. I figured that out all by
There you
myself.
go. And then also higher rates of breastfeeding as well. Yes.
Do you think postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety lasts?
It can last up to 1 to 2 years, but if you never
Wow.
treat it, then you can go into postpartum psychosis, which is when you're starting to hear things and your brain is telling you, okay,
Yeah.
do something bad to your children.
Yeah.
So untreated or unresolved postpartum depression can lead into postpartum psychosis. Now, if somebody keeps getting pregnant again back to back to back, and they already have postpartum depression, they're 5 times more likely to have postpartum psychosis. As a midwife, I also teach spacing, spacing out your children. We should not be having babies back to back because, yes, we go back to work in 6 weeks, which we really shouldn't. But it actually takes your brain and your body actually 1 year to get to almost pre-pregnancy state. Your brain actually shrinks during pregnancy. Yeah.
I understand some people don't like to tell you. Some people don't like you to tell them how to eat. Some women don't want to tell them.
Absolutely. Trust me, I've already me. I'm already knowing.
And
I get the backlash.
that's a good point because again, everything you're saying and all the questions, it simply screams the importance of the village and the community.
Yes.
They don't listen to the village.
I'm just saying we need it. I'm saying we need
And
it.
some people don't.
Yeah,
Some people don't
we need it.
desire accountability, and some people just aren't there yet.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't there yet.
How old they are.
And some people just
Yeah,
have to. Some people have to keep learning the hard way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Some people have to keep learning the hard way.
Parents can't tell this without.
Yeah.
Because you can't make them do it.
Yeah. You can. We can only help who really desires to be helped.
But that's the importance of the village because they might not listen to you because you mama what you
Right.
know. But if Miss Ruth says it because she's not their mother,
Mhm.
they're inclined to listen.
Right.
That's how that's how kids are. I don't know nothing, but
And now
you say the same
now
thing.
you talk about my kids.
Yeah, I'm talking about mine. My son in particular, that boy. I tell you, I love him.
Let's see. Major difference between home and hospital birth. Okay. So in a hospital birth, you're not allowed to eat, you're not allowed to drink. Most times you're not able to get up and walk around. They want you in the epidural. They want you on the fetal monitor, strapped down the whole time, right? You're confined in a room. They're gonna mandate, okay, you gotta be on this IV the whole time. They're gonna pretty much tell you where to go and how to go and what to do, where to do. Okay, and home birth, we're walking around the house, we walk around outside. They're eating, drinking. We're encouraging them to eat. They have their music playlist.
Eating what?
I mean, for like fruits, snacks, protein rich
Okay.
meals.
I'm sure it's done in Conroe or in the setting of the farm. I'm assuming.
Oh, I go to the people's homes, so I bring all my medical equipment.
Okay.
When they say, "Hey, DeShaun, I'm in labor," I say, "Okay, what are your contractions looking like?"
All right.
When it seems like it's active labor, then I head on over to them. I bring all my
Gotcha.
equipment.
Wow.
Crystalline
That's
comes.
awesome.
We
Yeah.
unload the car. We
Yeah.
set up everything.
Yeah.
Oxygen tank, our medical supplies, the birth pool. If they
A
want
pop-up shop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So you also gotta be physically fit because sometimes we be going up flights of stairs with that big old oxygen tank. So
Does
yeah.
the insurance cover?
Sometimes in the state of Texas, most times no for home births. But what I can do is I usually give people like if they have private insurance, sometimes they'll pay for it, but sometimes I'll write them a super bill and then their insurance will either reimburse them or partially
You
reimburse.
said super bill.
Super bill, yeah. So an item
Because it's really high.
Well, no. So the cost of midwifery in Texas is going to range anywhere from about $4,500 upwards to a high end is $9,000.
Wow.
So for my prices is for $4,500 for a Medicaid patient.
Mhm.
I give them Medicaid discount. They have Medicaid package. If you're doing like our full package is $6,500.
Okay.
It is on a payment plan, so you have your entire pregnancy to pay off that fee. Most times, if you go into a hospital, if you don't have insurance or you don't have good insurance, you might still be paying about $20,000.
Does the American medical industry look at midwifery and or doulas as taboo?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So it's still out there.
We're talked down.
Is that because of the dollar? Because they don't
Yeah,
take money from them?
that I think so, and I think that we're uneducated. That's a big misinterpretation. They don't think that we're qualified. They don't know the things that
Obviously.
we do.
Yeah.
So within that birth emergency that we had, where me and Kristen, we had to do the resuscitation on the baby.
Mhm.
Whenever we do resuscitation, we automatically call EMS. Because if I do chest compressions on the baby, the baby does have to go to NICU because sometimes things can break when we do chest compression.
Yeah.
The baby didn't need chest compression, but we still automatically call out as soon as we do resuscitation. And so the EMS, they were like, well, they didn't know what a midwife was.
No.
Yeah, they didn't know what a midwife was.
You're joking.
And so when I was pulling out medications and I was
They had to be young, under 25?
No, the guy that said that, he was probably in his 50s. Yeah. And I'm explaining, he said, well, did she do labs and did she do, I said, I did her labs. I did her ultrasound. She had a normal pregnancy. And then I said, okay, I'm about to deliver the placenta. And so, they're just looking at me like, well, I guess you know what you're doing. And then I went ahead and I had to give my patient medication in her leg. And they're like, oh, you have all that too? I said, well, I've already explained this to you multiple times.
Yeah. Were you not listening?
They weren't, because I'm black. There was a group of white people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they don't know what we have. They do look down on us. It's pretty much like, well, if you're not in a hospital, then you're unsafe.
Right.
Yeah. So those some of the misconceptions. But like I said, so my fee covers all their prenatal, their birth, postpartum, and their newborn, all the way up to 6 weeks. Okay.
So you said you do on average from, did you say 3 to 6 or 6 to 9 births a month?
Like 2 to 6. So 6 will be really, really high.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a high month. So if I do 6, like if I had 6 this month, I'm only going to take like 2 or 3 people next month.
Okay. I'm about to say because that's a lot.
I get too tired.
Yeah, that's a lot, yeah. Okay.
I'll get tired. We're on call. People have babies anytime.
So is it just you with Harmonious Birthing, or you got people?
So I'm the owner. So I'm the owner of Harmonious Birthing, but then I also have my birth assistant. So my main birth assistant is Crystalline. So if I say, hey, well, actually, shoot, last week we were at one of my patients' births, and I actually had to deliver her last baby too. We had just finished up with her, and I was like, hey, sis, I think we got to go to this other person's house. Right after. We was tired.
Yeah.
But sometimes, that's just kind of how the ball rolls.
Hey,
Thankfully, we're down to only one more person this month, and then we're all called to March, so we get a little break.
To March. Oh, wow.
To March, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said Crystalline, right? So is she your only birth?
She's my main birth assistant.
Main. So you have more than one.
I have multiple.
Yeah.
And then my other main birth assistant, she actually she was also my patient. She was my birth assistant before she got pregnant. Okay. Then I did all her pregnancy and stuff like that. So she's on maternity leave for a few months, and then she'll be back.
And I'm assuming a birthing assistant is not the same as a doula. It's not the same.
They're not the same. No, they're not the same. But most birth assistants are already doulas before. Okay. Because I do want them to have that background and knowing and understanding like, normal birth, what birth looks like, what a patient might need, right? But it's not the same thing. The birth assistant is mainly there for me to assist the patients. But versus if they hire a doula, the doula's with that patient the whole time, giving them comfort measures and massaging them, getting them through the birth and things like that. Versus the birth assistant, they're also like my medical helping hand. They're helping with charting. They're helping with cleanup. They're helping me with getting heart tones on the baby. They're helping with a birth emergency. Should it help? If I have to hurry up and do an IV, they'll help bring all my stuff out and I'll hurry up and get that IV started. Things like that.
So, from my vantage point of it, pro-Black brackets, Black man, it sounds like for a for a Black woman, especially a young Black woman, it sounds like the prenatal plan should always involve a melanated midwife or doula.
I mean, yeah, that would be great.
That sounds like it would be the healthiest,
great.
best, most culturally significant move.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But then you also have to where I'm the only Black midwife in my entire county.
Really?
And also, I'm one of.
Sound like opportunity.
I'm
There's
one
a shortage.
In all of Houston, there's only like 5 of us, 5 or 6 of us. In all of Houston, there's only like 5 or 6 of us Black midwives.
And Houston's big.
And Houston is huge.
Yeah.
Crystalline just started midwifery school today, by the way.
Congratulations, Crystalline. All right.
It's the first day of school. But yeah, so in all of Houston. So it's a lot of people having babies in Houston. Yeah. And there's a lot of Black women that say, oh, you know what, I heard about what happened in the hospital and I've seen this Instagram, I've seen this TikTok. And so sometimes I have to turn people away. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I'm full. I can't take it. Here's another midwife. And sometimes every midwife is not the same.
Sure.
There's some people that don't really see how I live a holistic lifestyle.
I see that.
What I preach.
Yes, ma'am.
Some midwives know about, okay, I know how to use these herbs for pregnancy. I know but they don't really live that lifestyle. So sometimes people want somebody that is actually holistic.
Yeah, because that American culture, the McDonald's be calling them.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. The couple, you don't want to change. These fries are good.
They don't want a midwife that eat McGriddles, you know. Yeah.
Like, ever had an experience after a midwife where it felt like the roles kind of all became one? Like, you had to play like doula and midwife
Yeah.
at the same time?
Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes you just assess what that patient needs. So a birth that me and Kristen were at, so usually as a midwife, I'm not on top of my patient the whole time. You know, that's what they have a doula for, or their partner, their husband for. However, sometimes I can look at a patient, I'm like, yeah, you're not handling this well. You know, so most times I'm like, okay, I'll do heart tones, and then we'll be able to step out, you know, and I'll step back in about 20 minutes, you know, make sure. And I plan on doing that with that patient, but she just wasn't handling it well. So I just have to stay there the whole time and rub her back and talk to her and help her breathe. And I'm like,
So
but sometimes, yes, I do, you know, because I want what's best for my patients. And so sometimes I do have to, you know, which is why it's best to be a doula before a midwife. Some people go straight to midwifery school, to be honest. I don't recommend that. I do think that the best midwives were doulas first, personally.
so ego aside,
Yeah,
I'm sure that's not an issue for you. Ego
I
aside.
think so.
What's the difference between a highly skilled midwife
Uh-huh.
and the doctor, the OBGYN doctor that delivers the baby?
Okay, so OB-GYN, they're also a surgeon.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put a surgeon.
Okay.
So and they can take on high risk patients.
Okay.
Okay, because they're trained for more high risk situations, and they can do surgery.
Gotcha.
They can also they can prescribe a larger list of medications to pregnant women than I can.
Can you prescribe medications at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can prescribe medications to infants and mothers.
Okay.
But I have certain ramifications. I have certain perimeters, boundaries. So like I can't prescribe a blood pressure medication to anyone, because if you have high blood pressure in pregnancy, that's not that has to be treated with medication, then you're no longer low risk.
Gotcha.
But if we can treat it with herbs and lifestyle, which most of the time works, then you're good. Then you're good to stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's sort of like different question, but because you're not like in the industry as a
OB-GYN.
yeah, is your insurance higher?
Good question.
What do you, no. I mean, so and also midwives, we're not required to have what's the type of insurance? I can't think of the name. And I can't think of the name
You
of.
have a certain insurance, but not the same.
Yeah, no, yeah. And in Texas, in most states, you're not required to have it. We're backed by what our licensing agency. And so as long as we're following suit in that, so if somebody says, "Oh, this went wrong at the birth," or they say they want to report the midwife, then it goes to the licensing agency, and then that board will say, "Okay, I need to see your chart. I need to see everything that happened in that," and you know, because everything is charted, and so they'll look at the case and stuff like that. Yeah.
So ideally, you would want someone to come to you before they're pregnant to talk about.
That would be that would be the most ideal situation.
Okay, but that don't happen. So
most times it doesn't.
Amen. So because you know sometimes you be watching Netflix and things you be Netflix. So
I Netflix, but I don't be popping up pregnant.
I can dig it. How many kids you got?
I have 2.
So you done?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna have probably 2 more.
Yeah, because real men do need 3. So tell your husband real men do need 3.
Okay.
Not that I did that.
So the thing with that is, because I'm an intentional holistic person, we're planning our pregnancy. So because I know that, okay, we know that we want to conceive this year. So we're saying, okay, we're gonna have 6 months of the best optimal health. We're getting preconception lab work done. We're making sure our dental work is in order. We're making sure we don't have cavities or nothing like that. We're making sure we're hitting the gym. We're making sure we're doing certain herbs. Make sure we're doing all that for 6 months straight. Then we're gonna we even go further. My husband gets a semen analysis because we want the most optimal health.
We didn't analyze none of my semen.
That's okay.
We just did it.
I bet.
And then my son popped up.
But everybody don't do that, and that's okay.
Right.
But you know, but sometimes some things can really be prevented, like pre-eclampsia.
Yeah, I mean,
gestational
I'm hearing
diabetes,
you.
and
Yeah.
you before.
Most
So sometimes it's like, well, I'm sorry, you're already pregnant. I can't reverse that.
Right.
Had your husband stopped drinking beer
Amen.
with that,
Right.
you know, every other night when he came home,
Right.
this probably could have been prevented. But
For
it's
sure.
too late.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, it's way out of my league. But, you're saying if the male
Uh-huh.
is going to the gym, eating correctly,
Yes.
drinking
Yes.
beer and alcohol,
Uh-huh.
can produce a healthy child?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My
Think about it. Think about it.
so
All
I'm
that stuff you put in your
actually
body kind of come out. It's gonna be in this fucking.
yeah. So I'm getting my master's. I graduated with my master's in June. That's actually my capstone. My capstone is over preconception health and how the male actually contributes to the pregnancy.
It makes sense.
Men can cause things like gestational diabetes, preeclampsia in the mothers. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even the men's oral health. If that man has cavities or or infections and abscess in their mouth, whatever, you can cause hypertension in the mother.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not just the woman. We're putting more emphasis on the man. It's 50.
Man, we need that village,
But
that
that's-
community.
I'm-
Jesus Christ.
My dissertation and my capstone is literally on that. I'll be presenting that.
Bad dental hygiene.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yes. You got to floss.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And when I tell patients, hey, when last time you visited the dentist, one time last.
Like, I don't know if you ever heard the music.
Yeah, the mix. Yeah.
Commercial.
Uh-huh.
They're telling you how like you're gonna to cancer, all types of things.
Wow.
Bad things
Yeah.
for your body.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Because it's systemic inflammation that goes into your bloodstream. If you have an infection in your mouth, it goes into your bloodstream.
That's my son.
I know, but he'll keep on. Dang, downside. That's not discrimination. I'm gonna tell him about it. I'm
So
sorry.
systemic inflammation, also stress. So I know when I get pregnant, I'm not about to be doing all 5 births a month. I'm probably maybe doing 1 and only for probably repeat patients. People are like, okay, I know you easy, we okay, go ahead and have the baby, whatever.
Okay.
You know, but I'm gonna stop working at 30 weeks. Rest is important. All these different things are important, but also even if the man is if he's not resting, if he's not getting like at least 6 hours of sleep on an almost daily basis prior to conception, it also is giving oxidative stress to the semen. And you can pass that on to your baby.
You know, and that is so powerful because, like Brother Will shot, most men, white, black, or otherwise, we don't think at all about
Yeah.
our contribution to the pregnancy.
Yeah, 'cause y'all
I mean,
ignorant.
at all.
Y'all are ignorant. That's
I know we're gonna say we're so ignorant. I mean, that is some amazing stuff.
And ignorant is not known. Just so.
Wait a minute, I did that. Yeah.
No, I've been the other way too.
Yeah, What'd you say?
No. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and I want to say,
all of that.
I wonder if I
I got
have
recorded. Well, I'm done. So.
Oh, I think
Yeah, my thing. Yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure.
I went over all my talking points, so now it's just Q&A if anybody has questions about anything.
Okay. Well, I got 3. Does anybody have a question?
And then I'll talk about the farm in a little bit. if
Indeed,
anybody has
indeed, definitely. Because I think you were going from the questions from the flyer.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
So I think you answered this, but I'm not sure. A few major misconceptions about doulas and midwives.
Uh-huh.
You answered that one?
Yeah, that people think that we're uneducated, or maybe that you can only have one if you want a natural birth, or if you want a water birth, or maybe if you're having twins, or if you're over 35 then you can't do it. These are type of things. Or if they say like, oh, my insurance doesn't cover that. Well, what does that mean?
Mhm.
We have this mentality in the United States of, oh, my insurance don't cover this, so I can't do it. Yeah, you can't. You got to pay for it.
Right.
You have to invest in what you desire. You have to invest in what you want. When I go to my holistic dentist, or when I go to the chiropractor, or when I go to the acupuncture, my insurance don't cover that. I pay for it because I want it, and that's the
Right.
kind of lifestyle that I want.
Right.
So I budget correctly to get those things because that's something that's important to me. Just like I budget for my grocery bill,
That's
you
right.
know, just like people budget to go to hookah bars
Yeah.
and buy their ribs for Sunday night. You can budget to go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You can budget for what you want to budget for.
Exactly.
Yeah, which goes
Yeah.
back to the whole mentality thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know the answer to this one because you've already answered it, but just for the sake of my questions, who are ideal candidates for doula, midwife, mid-birth
Mhm.
services?
So for doulas, anybody,
Mhm.
everybody, high risk, low risk, want to have epidural, want to have a cesarean, want to have a natural birth, just want some type of support, education, and advocacy. Home birth, hospital birth, birthing center birth. Okay, that's everybody. For midwifery, that's going to be a low to moderate risk patient. How do you know you're low to moderate risk? You have a free consultation with the midwife. I
Okay.
have free consultations. So people sign up for consultation on my website. They say, I think I want to have a midwife. I go through a list of questions with them to make sure that they're low risk.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, we can start care. What I do, they get their ultrasounds, they get their labs. If I see something in their labs, for instance, if I see that, okay, you have hepatitis, you're no longer low risk, I can't take you.
Okay.
You know, we'll have to end care, or we'll have to transition to where, hey, let me get you a doula, or maybe I can only do prenatal care, but you still have to deliver in a hospital, but you can deliver in a hospital and have a doula go with you. Okay, so throughout the whole pregnancy, I'm making sure that we're staying low risk. That's why we do like gestational diabetes screening and things like that. I'm making sure that the whole pregnancy, each and every appointment, I'm making sure that they're staying low to moderate risk. I'm asking them certain questions. I'm checking their vital signs. I'm measuring the growth of their baby, things like that.
Okay, two-part question.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been doing harmonious birthing?
Hormonal birthing for 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Second part, is there a hospital in Houston that you recommend because it's better than the other ones? Or are they all the same across the world? I don't know. No, they're all the same.
It's all going to be on who's there at that time.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Because you can have a great birth experience with the 7 a.m. nurse shift, but then at 7 p.m. they might look at you like you're crazy, or tell you know what, I'm tired. You need to just get an epidural. I'm not doing,
And I'm assuming you know those persons.
I mean, it's all over Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever seen a few years ago on the news. It was a ER nurse, a white male doctor in Houston, and he got caught in his phone, using a lot of racial slurs and saying like, I'm not about to treat this person because
Wow.
they're
Yeah.
an N-word. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So this was just like 3 or 4 years ago. So this is a bit still very apparent.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So it just depends on who's on shift that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the age that you suggest for both partners to call it quits?
So for me and my belief, that's whatever the Lord decides. But if you're healthy, I mean, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And if you get
and you can afford it.
Yeah.
Kids are
you
expensive.
can afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, do I think that you should try to get pregnant at 80? No, but I mean, if it happens, then I mean, she gonna do.
What you gonna do?
Right.
I'm gonna win. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are the cost benefits of a doula / home birth versus hospital birth?
Yeah. So for a hospital, most times your insurance is gonna either cover it or partially cover it.
Okay.
Some people still have deductibles. Some people have co-pays.
Right.
So some people with their insurance, they might be looking at. Sometimes people have to only pay $2,000 for the hospital. Sometimes people are paying $10K. Some people are paying $13K. So it just kind of depends. But it's like, okay, do you want to pay maybe $5,000 or $6,000 for the hospital to where you're going to get 5 to 10 minute visits? You're waiting in the waiting room for a long time. Nobody's answering your questions.
Yeah.
You don't know if your OB is going to show up, and you don't really have the postpartum care. Or do you want to pay that same amount to a midwife to where you have 1 hour long appointments? Your whole family's invited. There's toys and snacks in the office. We go to your house for postpartum visits for that first week, so you don't have to leave up out of your house.
Yeah.
People actually care for you. You're not waiting in a waiting room for a long time. You have access to us, to text, call us. You have that interpersonal connection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Being someone that benefited immensely from having a tribe with my kids when my wife was pregnant, they were born, and after that is immensely powerful when you can have your tribe involved.
Yeah.
And sometimes certain tribe members are too much with the mother-in-law.
Right.
It's a wonderful thing. Okay, so does anyone else have a question for Sister DeShaun about the birthday part? Everybody good? Cool. All right.
Okay.
Tell us about Taylor Made Farm.
Okay, so Taylor Made Farm, my husband and I, we purchased 4.24 acres in Conroe last May. March. I think we closed in March, but then we didn't move in fully till May. We started our farm immediately. We knew that we wanted to have a farm, we wanted to grow our own food, but we also wanted to service the community and have a farm. That's kind of like our lifelong goal. And so we have a farm stand at our farm in Conroe, Texas, every third Saturday of the month, where we sell fresh produce, produce, our jams, our pickles that we make, herbs, herbal tea, fresh pressed juices, sea moss, elderberry syrup, as well as like herbal medicine like tinctures. We have like a high blood pressure tincture. We have
Teacher, by the way.
a tincture is like it's herbal medicine.
Herbal medicine.
Yeah, you typically dilute it in water, tea, or juice.
Okay.
And it can help certain things.
Okay.
It just kind of depends on what's in the herbs.
Yes, ma'am.
And then let's see, we have certain oils, like we make our own oil of oregano, and most of our things are made from our farm. And then we also do vegan baked goods. So all of our goods, we don't use any kind of high fructose corn syrup. We don't use artificial dyes, any kind of like artificial sweeteners. And we try to source the best ingredients that we can. So this Saturday we'll have hot fresh cinnamon rolls. We're also gonna do some plant-based tacos for people to try. We'll have strawberry cakes, snickerdoodle cookies, peanut butter cookies, along with like our produce. So right now what's in season is collard greens, mustard greens, spinach, dino kale, curly kale. We have some green tomatoes.
What's the difference between those two, by the way? Dino and curly. Yeah.
Curly kale is what you usually see in a store, which is like the curly light green kale.
Mhm.
Dino kale is it looks kind of scaly and it's very, very dark.
Okay.
It's thin stem
Okay.
type. It has higher iron and higher
It tastes
vitamin
the same?
C. No, it tastes a little, I mean, it tastes similar.
Would a layperson know the difference with the taste if they had both? Would they know? This tastes different. You just have to know what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But we've been selling them though.
Okay.
And so yeah, we do it every third Saturday of the month from 11:30 to 2:30. And I post a lot about it. We have a farm Instagram, and then we have like our TikTok. I post on our TikTok pretty frequently as well. If anybody wants the address, if you want to write it down, it's 1-4. I see people starting to pull out stuff. So it's 1-4.
You have a picture of it?
Actually, can you bring up our website?
Yeah, sure can.
Why did I think about that?
Even did that image too. All right. I think I was actually going to go to it, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's
You all, start with your farm, like, did somebody work and say, love to buy it, like, was it?
yeah. So we both were pretty much saving up, and then like we didn't have to save up for a down payment because we're both veterans. So my husband, he's a Navy vet, I'm an Army vet, so we didn't have to do a down
The
payment.
Navy, they ain't for military.
So,
They ain't-
Army.
they ain't- he's Navy. They ain't even real.
I didn't want
Yeah,
to
they ain't
worry.
real. Yeah, no doubt. Amen.
Yeah.
All day. All day.
Yeah, I mean for
Wait, what did you say?
I mean
The blessing that they were better.
Oh, amen.
yeah.
Veteran has its benefits.
Yeah, because we don't have to do a down payment on a and then we get like better interest rates and stuff like that. But then we needed money to still fix up the property and buy a lot of stuff like that cost a lot of money. So we were saving up for that.
Y'all
And-
saving up because y'all work?
What do you mean?
Because, I mean, like, because sometimes people think they can just get stuff without work.
Oh no, yeah, we were working.
Right. Come
No,
on.
we were working. Yeah.
So I could talk to a bit.
Okay.
And so, I would love more information on like that process too.
Yeah, it's actually a very simple process. I can hook you up with my realtor. Do what? Yeah, use my VA loan. With the VA loan, you don't just get raw land. It's a house.
Oh, okay.
And it also has to pass a number of inspections, and it has to be in a certain condition. And
But
it is a tedious
you
process.
go in with the-
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So because my house is on land. Yeah, it is a little bit of tedious process. Probably one of the most stressful things I had to go through, to be honest, for an entire month. I'm not gonna lie, but we did it, thankfully. But yeah, I can hook you up with my realtor. He can better talk with y'all about it and look at like y'all's finances, your credit, because your credit also matters too, even with the VA loan.
Thank you for sharing that part, because a lot of people, when you said it was stressful, people just totally don't talk about that part.
Oh yeah. Oh
Just
yeah. I
understand.
probably cried every other day, and I'm not exaggerating. It was very, very,
But you weathered the storm.
Yeah, absolutely. I
It
mean,
was worth it.
yeah. I've been through stressful stuff. So sometimes I be like, okay, what? Like right now, I'm in my master's degree program, and like every week I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I want to quit, but I'm like, dang, now I graduate in a few months, so I freaking might as well, you know. But-
Make me every other day about another program.
Like, that's none of your business. That's not nobody business. I did say that I'm not going to school no more, but then some other stuff be like, oh, what if I do this? But you know, that's just my brain brain.
So Harmonia's birthday came before the farm, yeah?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So-
That was
so-
before I even met my husband.
So the idea So the idea of the farm was to help support the natural herbs of harmonious birthing, or just kind of happen?
No, that was I was already doing herbalism.
Okay.
Yeah. So I already did herbalism, yeah. So if you go to blog/newsletter, we update our newsletter every single month. And you can see like our menu. Sometimes we have volunteer days. So like this week, that's the latest one. This is actually a baby I delivered too. And she came to the farm. They surprised me. But if you click on that,
Click on what?
You said,
That's
okay, you deliver.
yeah, I delivered this baby. Yeah.
Asian, right?
No, she's Hispanic.
That's how Asian. Yeah.
But you can click, click
Well,
on it.
click on the image.
Yeah, I think if you click on the image, the whole newsletter will come up. Yeah, there it goes. And so if you scroll down, you can see, the time. We have volunteering. We have volunteering. Yeah, this Saturday. We have volunteer day this Saturday as well. So if you come early, you'll be able to do volunteer day. And I will say that the volunteers get first dibs on everything because they're already there. So as soon as the farm stand open up, they right there.
Right.
So they usually be snagging up the dessert. So if you volunteer, you be at the gate waiting on time.
And Ms. Ruth, as it relates to some vegan dishes, you would be surprised to know how good it
This
tastes.
is good.
I mean, you would really be like, wow, there's
Yeah.
no meat in here. You'd be surprised.
It's
Yes,
so
ma'am.
good.
Okay, can I bring my whole family?
To the farm?
To volunteer?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
yeah.
Bring the neighbors too, girl. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Of course you
Yeah,
can.
it's absolutely.
Yeah.
Love stuff like
Absolutely.
this, and we're new to the area.
Absolutely.
So,
If you're in Tomball, that means you're about, how far are you from the Tomball Farmer Market? Do you know?
I have no clue. I'm right on the edge, like North Point and North Eldridge, like
Okay, I don't know North that, but
Tomball.
you're probably like 40 minutes away.
I'm not too far from Conroe, is it?
It's technically the other side of the north side. It's
Depends on which side you go.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like 40 minutes. It's like 40 minutes.
Or
But
you
yeah.
want our 45 yours or 249?
I'm off of 242, so it takes me a minute to get to 45.
Oh wow.
Probably like take me about 20 minutes to get to
So you go to
45.
249.
Yeah.
To get to yours.
Yeah, or I'll roll down 99.
So it sounds like it's like being in Houston, 40-45 minutes to get
See,
someplace.
that's what I'm saying, but
That's what it sounds like.
So the thing is, when I post on TikTok, they're like, "Oh, it's far, it's in Conroe." I'll be like, "Y'all be driving to the hookah bars.
It's for what you want. You do what you want to do.
It's one time
Yeah.
to drive 45 minutes, and it's not that you're just only buying stuff. Me and my husband, we love coffee. We're
Yep.
some yappers.
Yep.
So if you tell me you got high blood pressure, I'm gonna tell you how to fix it.
Right.
And you're gonna be
Naturally.
You're gonna sit right
Yes,
there in your
ma'am.
office for 20 minutes. And I'm saying, okay, buy this and do this and do that. We also have kids that come and prick their produce and stuff like that. So it's an experience. You get to be around that experience only once a month.
Yeah.
People also ask, "Well, why y'all moving Conroe? It's just I feel so far." And I'm like, it's what I want,
Right.
you know.
And far as relative.
yeah,
far as
right.
Because you can't find anything affordable.
I was about to say you need the land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because I have 4 acres, and
And that's
so
why-
in
yeah.
Houston, that would have run me like $1 million.
Easy.
And I'm on unrestricted land.
I'm always going.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't deal with HOA stuff. I do what I want.
Right.
Okay, we'll scroll down some more so that you always see the menu. Oh, we also have our vanilla extract this week too. We make our own vanilla extract. Go down some more. We always have special announcements. This is my husband right here. This is the family with that baby there that I delivered.
Asian baby.
Yeah, it's a Hispanic.
These people stole that child.
Same thing.
Right.
You can go to the next.
Oh, really?
They say they ain't your child. I'm like, okay.
And my daughter would do that.
This is some of their volunteers working.
Is somebody wearing a robe?
Well, that's her sweater.
Oh, okay. That's a big robe.
Yeah.
Can't wait
This
to
is
be
some
it.
more volunteers. They were planted. We did planted some fruit trees as well. People have it. They brought their kids and stuff. These are some of our snickerdoodle cookies. She got some red mustard greens. This is me and my daughter in our kale patch.
You have
That's
these
That's it.
eyes?
That's it.
No, we don't have bean pies. You know, I actually never had a bean pie.
Oh, they're awesome.
And I didn't come across bean pies until I was vegan, but most times they have butter and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, most bean pies are vegetarian, not vegan.
Right.
And I never come across a vegan bean pie, so I'm like, okay, I gotta make one and eat it
So
myself.
you said if you volunteer Saturdays, you can get some free produce.
Not free.
Free?
You get it.
No.
First
You get
dibs.
first dibs.
First, not free.
Me and my
It's a
husband,
different air.
me and my husband's out there holding our phone flashlight so we can see in the dark last night and a farm.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not free.
All right, we can wrap this up. Okay, anything you want to say in closing as we wrap this thing up?
No, that's about it. I really appreciate everyone. The farm stand The address on the website, 14120 Tower Glen Lane, from 11:30 to 2:30.
Repeat that address.
Yeah.
14120 Tower, TOWER, and then Glen, GLEN, Lane, Conroe, Texas. And the zip code is 77306. That's 11:30 to 2:30.
Okay.
Last month was our first time completely selling out, so we were very happy about that.
Amen. All right. Y'all give DeShaun a round of
Thank
applause.
you so much.
What's the price for this?
It depends what you want.
Our bundles to bring are usually about $5. Everything's ranging from about $5 to $20. So $20 you get like elderberry syrup, which we sell them in big jars. Versus like CVS, you get like 2 ounces. Ours is 16 ounces for $20.
You said 11:30 to what?
11:30 to 2:30. But if you want to come for volunteer day, 9:30 or 9:45 for arrival.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Let me
you.
wrap this thing up. So, this is why we do this thing. I'm telling you, everything we need as a community, we already have, but we don't know it because we're not connected and we don't talk to each other. This sister is a wealth of knowledge, and she actually, I'm sure you guys caught it or not. She actually stated that this really could be a major industry that we could own and control in Houston, which is huge because there's a shortage. And we know the services are needed because we're not gonna stop having sex.
Right.
That's one reason they do what they do, because they're afraid that if they keep having sex, our gene is inferior. It's a genetic annihilation thing. So we need our people to understand, especially our young people, that the process of giving birth is a beautiful thing, but you need to do it the right way, because if you don't, then bad things can happen. And you got to deal with this bad thing for 18 plus years, if not longer than that, because you didn't have the proper information and knowledge. So Thursday morning breakfast is about us, again, being the bridge between the do-gooders and those that need that good to be done in their lives. We're not gonna stop having babies. Like Brother Will's shock, which was just like my shock. There's so much that we don't know.
Yeah.
When it comes to the process. I mean, who would have ever thought that a cavity or bad oral hygiene
Right.
could affect the development of your child? You don't know what you don't know. So with everything happening the way it's happening in this country right now, with Project 2025, this president, they are making it okay once again to be racist, and they're not trying to hide anything. So we do this so that we can highlight the people who are doing the good. And this is one of the reasons why we started our digital magazine, and every speaker is on the next cover. This is our last speaker, and you'll be on the next cover.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started this magazine, which is called Grow for Care Digital. One of my nonprofits is the Grow for Care Alliance.
Okay.
So for those that don't know, GROW is an acronym that stands for Generating Real Opportunities to Win, and CARE is Community Action Results Empowerment. So when you put them together, our website is growforcare.org. So generating real opportunities to win for community, for action, for results, for empowerment. So we do that because we understand that if we aren't generating real opportunities to win in those 4 areas, it's going to be checkmate for us, especially now in this country. So this is our 47th issue. My first issue was maybe 17, 18 pages, maybe. Now we're at 96.
Oh, nice.
Because there's so much happening in the country that's detrimental to our forward progress. Our melanin is being attacked on multiple levels. And a big part of that is that the people who are pushing the agenda that's anti our forward progress, they understand that their birthing numbers are down. So as a community, we need to be not only propping her up, but protecting her and you, because you guys make it possible for their greatest fear to be realized, which is the birth of a Black child. All this stuff is connected. It's all connected. So we have to understand that, again, everything we need, we already have, but we don't know it because we're not connected to one another. We don't talk, we don't build, we don't mobilize. So because of what she does with her own farm, that's one of the reasons why we started Grow for Care Farms. And if you go to Shop All, you will see her products are already, some of them are already on the website. Because it's about me understanding her so I can promote it and we can both benefit. I have people coming to me all the time trying to get me to be involved in business opportunities or whatever the hell. And I've said to people, we got to stop trying to make money from other people's ventures. There's no way in hell I can't make money with her. There's no way in hell we can't collaborate to start some, maybe even the first Black-owned midwife, doula, hospital, critical care, whatever the hell we call it, because it's an opportunity that currently doesn't exist. We're going to have sex. We're going to have babies. It should be a healthy process. We need to brush our teeth, blah, 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 blah. That is a multi-million, if not billion-dollar opportunity. I used to think that agriculture was the only industry that Black people had all the parts for. They just weren't together. I used to think that. Now I can add the midwifing thing to it.
So it's funny
That's
that you
powerful.
say that
Yeah.
because what I hope for is by the end of the year, we have an event at the farm to where it's agriculture and a birth fair
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, ain't nothing to but to do.
Because everything starts with food and
Yeah.
everything starts with birth, and I want to merge it together.
I just wrapped up I did a 5-part Zoom series called Building Within the Matrix. The subtitle was Project 25 is here, it's happening, what are we going to do? And I dealt with 5 things: agriculture, because we got to eat; security, because we got to secure what we eat, because it's not a matter of if it's going to be targeted for destruction, it's when and how, because it's what they always do. The third one was local economics, which agriculture is a big part of that, multi-billion-dollar industry. The fourth one was politics, and the fifth one was our children. So there are a lot of things that we got to do, but if we can be more proactive in those 5 areas, that's a game changer across the board. Because everybody eats ideally 3 times a day. So if we can grow our own food and eat our own food, that would eliminate what America is pushing, because America is not pushing healthy food.
Right.
America is pushing the dollar. And if you go to any predominantly Black space in this country, you're gonna see more fast food restaurants than vegan or vegetarian restaurants. All of which can be flipped, but it's gonna take the right people to flip it. And if you don't have the right mindset, you ain't flipping jack.
Right.
You flipping the McGriddles.
Yeah.
And we don't want that.
Right.
So on that note, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. We're here every Thursday talking about something that matters. This is why we do what we do, because everything we need, and we are up against it as a people. If you didn't know, surprise, surprise. Project 2025 was not a joke. They're not playing games. I have an ongoing article in the magazine where it's 5 pages of me breaking down what they're going to cut out. And when you add up what they're going to cut out, I think it's like $13.5 billion worth of stuff that people currently need. And that starts this month. So if you think about 13 plus, it might have been 35 billion. You think about those services that we once were able to get, and even then it was inadequate, being cut out. Hungry people, they got to eat. They got families. So the crime is going to go up in predominantly Black spaces, and they know that. So everything that happens on purpose. So if we don't get serious about the food, if we don't get serious about the security, if we don't get serious about the businesses and all of it's linked. If we don't get serious about those first 4 things, we won't have anything to give our kids. And if we don't understand the process of not only giving birth, but getting pregnant in the first place, that's everything. You dropped some jewels today, as the kids would say, bars, which is funny to me. I mean, but who knows? This child is just like my niece. I swear to God. I'm gonna take a picture of you. I'm gonna show it to my brother. She is. We connect. She'll know. So I want you guys to take a good hard look at her, and I'm gonna show you a picture of my niece. I want y'all to take it in, because I swear to God, I'm gonna send you a picture to my brother. I say, boy, you got another daughter out there somewhere. So y'all take a good look. I'm gonna show you a picture of my niece. Because, amen. Well, second wife. So anyway, all right, we got to go. Thursday morning breakfast. Y'all come back. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.